નમસ્કાર, હું આદર્શ છું. વેલકમ ટુ આદર્શ એજ્યુકેશન સોસાયટી. સ્ટેન્ડર્ડ 10th, સબ્જેક્ટ સાયન્સ, ચેપ્ટર 2nd, acids, bases and salts. Dear students, you will learn more about salts. During the various reactions, you have seen the formation of the salts. Now let us understand their preparation, properties and uses. Now we'll see family of salts. What do you mean by family of salts? Salts having the same positive or negative radicals or ions are said to be family of salt. So you know that radical group of atoms which behave as a single unit. Write the formula of the salts given below. Potassium sulfate, you see, potassium sulfate, K2SO4, see K2SO4. How K2SO4 is formed? You know that valency of potassium, K is 1 and sulfate is 2. By crisscrossing, you got K2SO4. Okay. In the similar way, sodium sulfate, Na2SO4, calcium sulfate, CaSO4, magnesium sulfate, MgSO4, copper sulfate, CuSO4, sodium chloride, NaCl, sodium nitrate, NaNO3, sodium carbonate, Na2CO3 and ammonium chloride, NH4Cl. So like this way, salts are formed. These are all family of salts. Now, identify the acids and bases. You know that salts, how the salts are formed? When acid and base react with each other and form salt, that you learnt already. So how these salts are formed? For example, potassium sulfate, acid H2SO4. See, potassium sulfate is made from acid H2SO4 and the base KOH, potassium hydroxide. For example, sodium chloride, acid HCl and the base NaOH. So like this way, these salts are formed. Okay. Salts having the same positive or negative radicals are said to belong to a family. Salts having the same positive or negative radicals. For example, NaCl and Na2SO4. See, NaCl and Na2SO4. Next one, Na2SO4. Na plus SO4. Now you see, this is the belonging to the family of sodium salts. See, both are same, belonging to the family of the sodium salts. Now, similarly, NaCl and KCl. NaCl, Na plus Cl and KCl, K plus Cl. See now, these are same. So, these belonging to the family of chloride salts. Okay. So, like this way, how many families can you identify among the given salts? Okay. Now, we move on to pH of salts. So, before understanding the beginning one, now we'll see the here strong acids and strong base are neutral. See, salts which is made of strong acid and strong base are said to be neutral, whose pH value is 7. Its pH value is 7. For example, sodium chloride made of strong acid HCl and strong base NaOH and pH value is 7. Okay, neutral. On the other hand, salts of strong acid and weak base, salts of strong acid. For example, copper sulfate, acid, strong acid, H2SO4, and weak base CuOH twice. So these are said to be acidic. See, salts of strong acid and weak base are acidic in nature, whose pH value is less than the 7. And those of strong base and weak acid, for example, sodium carbonate, H2SO3, acid H2SO3, and strong base, weak acid H2SO3, and strong base NaOH. So these are basic, whose pH value is more than the 7. Okay, in this way, salts are formed. Now you see this one. Collect the following salt samples. Collect these samples: sodium chloride, potassium nitrate, aluminum chloride, zinc sulfate, copper sulfate, sodium acetate, sodium carbonate, sodium hydrogen carbonate. These salts you have to take it. Check their solubility in the water. For example, sodium chloride, I will say, soluble in the water. Okay, like this. Check their solubility in the water. That is telling using the distilled water here. Check the action of this solution on litmus. For example, I have taken sodium chloride, neutral to the litmus, and find the pH, neutral to the litmus. Find the pH by using the pH paper. By using the pH paper, that value is 7. So that is why it is neutral. So like this way, which of the salts are acidic, basic or neutral? So you have to say about acidic or basic in the nature. And also, you know that when acid and base used or react together to form the salt. Okay. Now, the next one, chemicals from the common salt. See, many chemicals prepared from the common salt. Common salt, NaOH, sodium chloride. How this salt is formed? You know that common salt is formed by the combination of hydrochloric acid HCl and sodium hydroxide NaOH. Solution is called sodium chloride. This is the salt what we are using in the food. You must have observed in the daily above activity that this one is a neutral salt also. Okay. Seawater contains many salts. Seawater contains many salts dissolved in it. Sodium chloride is separated from these salts. So sodium chloride is in the major proportions. Deposits of the solid salt. See, these deposits of solid salt are also found in several parts of the world. These large crystals, large grains, are often brown due to the impurities. This seems to be brown in color. This is called as rock salt. So now, what is rock salt? The soluble salts dissolved in the seawater deposits as a solid salt in the form of large crystals, which turns brown due to the impurities, and these deposits are called as rock salt. Okay. Beds of rock salt were formed. Beds of rock salt were formed when seas of bygone ages dried up. Bygone occurrence that took place in the past, or an event that happened in the past, seas are dried up. So in this way beds of rock salts were formed. Okay. Rock salt is mined like coal. This rock salt is mined like coal. Mined like coal, you mean know that coal mine, an excavation, digging the ground from which ore and solid minerals are taken out from the underground. So in this way, this rock salt is also taken out from the underground, from the ground. So you must have heard about Mahatma Gandhi's Dandi March. Mahatma Gandhi's Dandi March. This Dandi March is also called as Salt March, Dandi March. On March 12, 1930, see, this Dandi March was started on March 12, 1930. March 12, 1930. From Sabarmati Ashram in Gujarat to protest against the tax on the salt argued by the British. See, due to the Salt Act, the population of Indians not able to sell the salt independently, and the poor were even not able to afford to buy it, and people were not allowed to make a salt even for the domestic use. Then Mahatma Gandhiji started the Dandi March. So those time the sodium chloride was an important symbol for the struggle freedom. Okay. Now we move on to common salt. Raw material for the chemicals. Raw material, the basic material from which the product is made, that you are calling the raw material. The common salt thus obtained is an important raw material for various materials of daily use, such as sodium hydroxide, baking soda, washing soda, bleaching powder, and many other more. So, sodium chloride is using for their preparation. First of all, we will see sodium hydroxide. When electricity is passed through an aqueous solution of sodium chloride, that you are calling brine. See, when electricity is passed through an aqueous solution of sodium chlorides, aqueous solution, this solution we are calling brine. Then it decomposes to form sodium hydroxide and also produces chlorine and also produces hydrogen. So this process we are calling chloralkali process. So what is chloralkali process? Because the products formed chlor for chlorine and alkali for sodium hydroxide. See, sodium hydroxide, alkali. So that is why we are calling this process we are calling chloralkali process. Chlorine gas is given off at the anode. See, chlorine gas is where? At the anode. And hydrogen gas at the cathode. Sodium hydroxide is formed near the cathode. The three products produced in this process are all useful. See, for example, hydrogen. So hydrogen, it is used as a rocket fuel, and also in the margarine. Margarine means here margarine in the hydrogenation of vegetable oils, and also it is used in the preparation of ammonia fertilizers. The next one is chlorine. In water treatment, it is used in the water treatment as germicide and disinfectant for the sterilization of the water. And also it is used in the manufacture of PVC, and also used in the manufacture of CFC, and also it is used in the manufacture of pesticides. So like this way Cl2 is using, and also it is used in the manufacture of bleaching powder. And now NaOH is using for the degreasing metals, degreasing, to remove the grease or oily substance. And also it is used in the preparation of soap and detergent. And also it is used in the for making paper, and also it is used for making cotton unshrinkable, and also it is used as a reagent in the laboratory. So like this way, and it also used in the preparation of artificial fibers. So these are all uses of the three products, that is hydrogen, chlorine and sodium hydroxide. Okay, thank you for joining us.